You may be wondering, why use a UV resin instead of a 2-part epoxy or any other kind of clear coat? Well, I can't tell you why you should, but I can tell you why I do. As long as you keep it out of UV light, you can work with it as long as you want to. I brush mine on. So with this, like I say, as long as I keep it out of UV light, you can keep spreading it. Do whatever. I mean, that right there is pretty thick. And then when you're done, if you mess up, you can also wipe it off. But, okay, so you're done with it. And you stick it in under the light. We'll leave it about, let's try a minute. It really shouldn't take that long, but just to make sure. And then it'll set up. The only thing and the problem with doing it in something like this is you have to turn, you want to do a fishing lure longer than a minute. I like doing it for at least 30 minutes once I get it to stop running. So, which is putting it under here and you can do it for a minute, or I normally let it run the 1 minute and 20 seconds on the lure, and I check and make sure the tackiness is gone, and then I'll hang it up in the bucket. There's a minute. So, I don't know if you can see the shine on it. You can definitely see I've got it puddled up. It's not sticky or tacky. And there it is. Now, with your lure, it's going to go all the way around, touch itself, and it won't be that way. And here, it's flexible. But once you let that cure, it will get hard. You let it sit there for, 30 minutes, it'll be extremely hard and take a beating. So for me, that's what I like about it. In 30 minutes, I can take the lure out and fish with it. And you just can't do that with any other coating that I've found. John Brown here with Bassin. We're in the shop today. I'm going to show you how to make a UV box for curing UV resin on fishing lures. First thing you'll need is a 5-gallon bucket with a lid, your UV lights, a hot glue gun, a screwdriver, and some paper clips. A couple coat hangers if you do it the way I'm going to do it. I'll show you 2 ways to do for hanging your lures. Okay, to get started, and I'll leave the link below for these lights. You want to make sure that you get a light with the 365 nanometers. This is the sweet spot for curing your fishing or curing the UV resin. The higher up you go, which this one goes to 405 nanometers, but if you only had the 405, you may have to leave them set for hours and hours to get them to cure. The 365 is your sweet spot. This is 150 watts, which is really good. You need to make sure you have at least 48 watts from what I remember. So I'm going to show you this. For me, I'm going to need 3 for my 5-gallon bucket. I could probably get away with doing less, but I want to make sure I cover it real well. And I suggest you get an extra one, and I'll show you why. And I'll show you what I like about these better than most of them. Okay, and here's one already out of the box. The first thing you want to do is plug it up and make sure it works. If you put one in just like this, which you can put multiples, these are just clothespins. You put multiples in and it'll run 120 seconds. You also have timers on the top for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and then a low heat mode for 99 seconds, which I never use. I always just use the motion, unless you go putting them way back in, which I would put it in and pack them to where you still have something hitting the sensor to make it come on. Now, this will set quickly, and I like using it. It has magnets on the bottom of these, and just this certain one, I haven't seen any other ones like that. And the great thing is, most of the time, my old ones, I have them sitting on top of a mirror. These pretty much come with their own mirror. You peel this blue sticker off of it, and you have a very reflective bottom. And you can see the lights perfectly. The reflection is pretty awesome. So with that, if you get these, or get one, just to set it this way, which you can fully cure your lures this way, you just have to turn it on more often. Whether you're pulling this out and putting it back in, or hitting the buttons, or whatever. But I like this to immediately stop the flow. It keeps me from getting glue in my eyelets, so it's less cleanup. If you let it set for a long time, where it is a liquid, it will run down and fill your eyelets, even get on it to where it would stick a little bit. But nevertheless, like I said, you want to make sure this works. Very important, because once you take it apart, you void your warranty. There will be no warranty. And you can go through and take these little pieces of plastic off here too. I may actually have this one upside down. I do, so I should have pulled it from this side first, but it doesn't matter. They're both reflective the same way. Just the feet on it go down. Yeah. Put that to the side. So you want to unplug it. Get your Phillips head screwdriver. It only has 5 screws in it. Okay, I'm going to pry this out, which doesn't take very much. Now, these are your side sensors, your motion detection. Just unplug them or pull them out so they're out of the way. Then you have your power plug, and this is the power going actually to your lights. This pops right out. Then you got to take all these screws out. Now, a lot of these lights have one panel that holds all your lights and curves over the whole thing, which is fine if you keep one together, but taking them apart, this really makes a difference because you can position your lights where you want them. Instead of being stuck with that pattern or even trying to bend that plate and straighten it out some, which may cause damage to your lights. This, we'll use a hot glue gun and just glue it into the bucket. Now, I'm sure, you know, other people, you might find a tote or something like that and do the same thing with. I'm using a 5-gallon bucket. I've actually got some that are probably about 2.5 gallon, and I'll show you how I did them. But the 5-gallon bucket will allow me to do big swim baits. It'll also allow me to do 24 regular crankbaits in them at a time. So there's your lights. Now, you can, if you want to, you can splice the wires and just put them together, going from your power cable, because we're going to bypass that timer. We want it to stay on all the time. You know, these two will not plug together, so you can splice the wires if you want. But what I do is get on this board, and you got 2 shots at this. Now you could heat it and get them off if you want to, but I've found the weld's not normally real good, or soldering's not that great on them. So you wiggle it a little bit and they come out. Now you've got solder in the way, so it doesn't go in real easy. Hopefully one of these lighters will work. I just heat it up a bit. I'll see the solder move. It still didn't do it enough. Heat it a little bit more. One thing you will want to do, you want to plug this into it. See, red on that side, black on this one. You want to make sure it's red on that side and black on this one before you hook them in there. Try to heat these up again. And if you want to, you can solder them in, but because this one is the one you really want to stay, you want to make sure it stays together. I want to plug this up. Let it start getting warm. Once it warms up, I'll come back to this. You can do shrink wrap. I just don't happen to have any right now that will fit this. So I'm going to hot glue around this. I'm going to pull that out. So what I'm going to do is I'll put hot glue around this and then tape. And then we'll make, well, I probably ought to make sure it works first before I hot glue it. You want to make sure the lights come on. And they lit up, so they're working just fine. Once this heats up, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll go from there. Okay, the glue gun's heated up, so I guess I'll do it left-handed. And some hot glue in here in the crack of it. Be sure not to get any over here in the plug, just here in the between. Once that sets up, which won't take very long, I'll wrap some black tape around it. And the main reason I use the plug is because eventually these will go bad. All lights go bad, which it should be a long time. This says 50,000 hours lifetime. So I may not be doing this in 50,000 hours. I don't know. But it's always good to, or I may come up with something different and not use the bucket anymore. But it's always good to have a way, if something goes bad, you can pop them out and replace just one string of it instead of throwing your whole UV box away. So I figured this way will work out better. And if you want to get in the bucket and cut your wires out, you know, which you would have to wrap them in the bucket, and they're not very long, so you very well can. I like to have things that are plug and play. And what I would actually probably do for the next one is cut the wires and just hook the wires together from the old one, so I don't have to redo a plug if I would have to replace them. Okay, we're going to plug it back in, make sure it works. Lights are working, so unplug this. I probably better keep that plugged up because I'm going to have to use it for the bucket. I just need to get them out of the way. Get this out of the way. Now on the bucket, I've already put two in it, two sets of lights. I got a bucket from Harbor Freight. Said you'll make sure you have a lid, which they're sold separately. Unfortunately, I painted inside the bucket with a chrome paint, which I think was Krylon. And these are coat hangers. And with them, if you do it this way, instead of hanging them from the lid, when you get your coat hanger, you'll want to bend slightly on the edge, or you can bend a 90-degree angle. I don't know if you can see it or not. Here, this one was where it was near the top. And what you want to do is cross them, and I'll show you why in a minute. But you just straighten your coat hanger out and then line it up. Make sure you have enough on each side, so once you stick it through, you can actually squeeze the bucket, bend one end, you drill a hole, run it through, mark down here, make sure it's close enough. It don't have to be perfect. Drill that hole, then slide this all the way through it, and you can actually squeeze the bucket enough to bend the other side. Okay, if you notice, the bottom, the bars are going in between the spaces of the top one. And you want to do it that way, so if you hang a large lure, such as this one, if I hang it off the top, it will actually go down in between and doesn't hit these bars, doesn't get in the way. And if I shorten my hanger up enough, I should be able to get at least a 12-inch bait in here if I ever wanted to do one that large. But now I drilled the holes here on the side. I drilled 3 holes, knowing I was going to do 3 lights in it, and just run the drill bit down a little bit. You're better off to do this before you paint the inside of the bucket. I don't know if you can tell, the ones that actually have plugs sticking in them, the paint broke off. Now for up here, these aren't, it doesn't matter too much. But like I say, you want to make sure you go in between the spaces for this. Now, if you do hangers from the top of the bucket, let's see, like I did this on the 2.5 gallon, and that's all just coat, or they're nothing but paper clips. You use 2 paper clips. You put one, put them in from the top, make loops on them, and then make hooks to hang. And you're just using, every bit of it's nothing but paper clips, and then you can hang them. And the reason you need to decide before you do this is because of the distance that you want to put your lights. You will have to have them up higher if you're going to just use paper clips. So let's go on and put this in. Plus, this you have to make sure you have, at least for the bottom one, you don't want to go straight across and it be in the middle of one of those. Unplug this. Now you can angle these any direction you want to. I went side to side for the majority. The bottom ones I have been doing up and down, but this being the last one, I'll see how they lay. Now you can put these in before you put the coat hangers. I didn't because I wasn't sure how I was actually going to lay it out. So instead of doing them that way, especially for this last one. Okay, so we'll start and glue the bottom first. Make sure this thing, run the plug in. There we go. Make sure it plugs up. I actually think I'm going to angle that one. Put it a little bit to the side. Be better off with a smaller glue gun for this. And you don't have to glue the whole thing. But you do want to make sure you get like the top and bottom or the two sides. You want to at least get it glued there. Okay. And another reason I used hot glue was for the fact it's easy to just pop them off if you need to. time for another glue stick to be put in. Okay, so let's plug them all up. And the best thing to do is put these all on a surge protector, all by themselves. That way you can use the switch on the surge protector to run your lights. Clear out the hot glue web. You can also glue these in the middle, which is what I did. Make sure when you get a power strip surge protector, you get them with the plugs going that way, or you won't be able to put all three of them on one. And your paper clips, all you have to do for them, bend it out like this. That allows you to hang your baits. I'll reposition this and show you how to hang them. I'll pause the camera and be right back. Okay, just to show you, potentially you could put 6 baits on each line, 6 regular size bass baits. So it'd be 24 in total that you could actually hang on here. And then of course you see you can hang bigger baits, but you won't be able to put as many. Okay, I'm going to pause this and set the camera back, and I'll show you the rest of it. Okay, now if you decide that you don't want to do the coat hangers through and you just want to hang them from the lid, best thing to do, get you a piece of cardboard from, a box with a straight edge like this one, which I've already marked it. So move the camera up a little, sorry about the noise. It has these little notches or supports for the lid around the edge, so I use them as a marker. You get a Sharpie, and all you have to do is line it up straight across from the middle and run your Sharpie just in this groove, because that groove is a good distance from the edge to do it. So hit the groove, hit the middle, hit the groove. Skip 2, do the same thing. Groove, hit the middle, hit the groove, and go all the way around it with a Sharpie. Now you can use a drill bit if you want to and drill your holes, but let's see, there's 2. So you should be able to hang 11 baits in total doing it this way. Drill, I would do it closer to the center and put your holes in here, and then you can I'll do 1 paper clip to show you, because what you want to do is make a loop on the bottom of it. Once you, basically you're folding this in half, but leaving a loop. So you have your loop. I don't know if you can see it. I think the light makes it worse. But you'll push it up through the hole. So you make sure you still have the loop on the bottom. I hope you can see it. No, you can't. Okay. Then the top, you have your 2 wires sticking up. And all you have to do is spread them out. So it looks like that on top. Let me turn the light off, see if that helps. So it's spread out on top. And then you have the loop on the bottom. And you'll do this same thing for each line that you drew, all the way around it. Then you get your next one. You hook it through. And all you have to do is fold it over. You just want to make sure this one doesn't come off. Now when you hang your baits, you'll do like I showed you to begin with. I'm going to end up painting this, the chrome, just like I did inside the bucket, so it'll be reflective. But I wanted to leave it this way to show you how to do your lines, and that way you get good enough spacing and you can hang all your hooks in it. That way I could show you how to do that. When you're putting the lid on, when you have it that way, your lures move a lot, so you have to keep a steady hand. Now, one more thing. This is kind of a bonus thing that you may want to do. Before you throw this away, I told you it's got magnets. These are extremely strong little magnets. So, get a screw, a nail, something like that. The back, it already has a hole, which I'm just going to use a screwdriver since that's what I got handy. And you'll want to knock those magnets out, because you're going to want to keep these. And I'll show you how strong they are. If I can keep the screw in there. It's hard to hold it and show it on camera at the same time. And them things are strong. So you end up with 4 little teeny tiny magnets, just to show you how strong they are. If I can get a paper clip off of here. Yeah, I use the screw. Oh, that's pretty strong, that little magnet, because that's probably a 2-ounce bait at least. And those are 1/0 hooks. So just a bonus on something to keep before you go throwing that away. Well, yeah, if you have any questions, leave them below and I'll see what I can do for you. Hopefully this helps you out, and I'll leave a link also to these clips. These work really good for the lures. They hold them good. You can put multiples, you know, up and under the light. And I'll put a link to the light. For bigger bills like this one, and it's not really so much the length of them, it's how thick they are through here. These clothespins work a lot better, but for the majority of them, I like these, the metal ones. So hopefully it helps you out, and like I say, if you have any questions, leave them below and let me know. Questions, comments, whatever. I appreciate it.